Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a commentary video about a celebrity, which sounds like nothing new, but today's video is going to be a little bit different in that we are talking about a celebrity whose career is over. This is someone who was on an unparalleled rise to fame using their own unique methods until it all came crashing to a stop and now it's dead in the water. You've read the title. We're talking about CallMeCarson. Now, I know that some of you don't know who that is, but before I tell you anything about Carson's history or his backstory, I'm actually going to tell you how this story ends, in case you don't know. In the first week of January 2021, it was revealed through Discord leaks and screenshots that Carson had been engaging in sexual conversations with an underage fan a few years ago. After this came to light, the victim came forward and provided even more details, which made Carson look even more like a villain. All of Carson's channels have been radio silent ever since. So as of right now, Carson's career is a cold body. He stayed completely silent when the victim spoke up, which only made it look worse for him. And now, since he's not posting anywhere and there's no trace of him, he's effectively disappeared in disgrace. The people who watched his videos are moving on and starting to follow other creators, and his diehard fans who are still defending him are starting to lose hope. So effectively, this story is not going anywhere. And you might be saying, Duncan, why are you talking about a month-old story that's completely resolved and there's no new drama or evidence going on? And to that I would say, I am not a drama channel. Do I look like Keemstar to you? I actually avoided talking about this topic when it was trending because I didn't feel like I had anything new to add to the conversation besides, yeah, grooming is wrong. Besides, a lot of commentary channels were already covering this and I didn't feel like I had anything new to add, so I stayed out of it. But now that the dust has settled, I actually do want to revisit this topic. Not to cover the drama, that there's been enough of that. But if you look at the title of this video, I'm actually interested in looking at something else. Before this scandal came to light, Carson was known as a very innocent entertainer, and a huge one at that. He was popular enough to have multiple channels that were growing at unprecedented rates. He was playing the internet game and winning. Like, he was well loved, all of his videos had good reception, and he seemed to be managing his channels really well. He knew what he was doing, and he was undeniably successful. And that's what I want to look at. I want to see what we can learn from CallMeCarson's history. Not just look at how it ended and say, okay, don't groom minors. Because that's an easy message. I mean, I fucking hope it would be. As most creators who go through damning scandals like this, Carson's impact on the internet is currently being swept away. And while I do think that is a good decision for everyone involved based on how things went down, part of me wants to look at what Carson did before it's completely wiped away and see if we as an audience can take something from it. And I do want to give a bit of a disclaimer. I am going to be going over a lot of what Carson has done in the past and highlighting the good things. And I do want you to remember as you watch this video that I am not defending Carson, and I am not saying that he is a good person. I'm also not trying to compare his previous behaviors with his more recent ones. I'm not trying to weigh Carson on the scales of justice because I don't like the guy. I don't like what he did. No, this video is about pulling apart Carson's career, seeing what worked, and seeing if there are any positives we can take from it. So let's start at the very beginning and see how this story plays out. The big claim to fame that blasted Carson's career into space was his multiplayer series he started on the game Minecraft. Carson made a server on the game so that he and his friends could all play together on it, but because they were all small streamers, the catch was that you had to be live streaming at all times when playing. This meant that multiple people were all streaming the same server, and the growth of one of these streamers would end up benefiting everyone involved. This idea was really smart in a channel growth sense. So effectively, all of these streamers were sort of rising in popularity at the same time. As more people joined the server, Carson and his friends started becoming influencers due to their extreme growth. They were becoming famous off of one Minecraft server alone. This happened for almost a year. Then Carson decided to shut down the server. A finale was held, everyone said goodbye, their streams were flooded with viewers for the end, and then the server was closed. Because of that, the Twitch viewers of the SMP now had a choice to either drop it and move on, or follow Carson and keep up with his next project. So in the end, Carson's channel grew even more from his SMP shutting down. So here's something I think we should highlight from this. Carson could have just made a Minecraft server and played it with his friends and streamed it himself, and it would have been fine. It would have been normal. Instead, he had everyone stream it, so everyone was being promoted as a collective. And as a result, everyone's channels grew together. All of those people who were on the SMP with Carson from the beginning essentially owe a lot of their early growth to Carson. He was responsible for starting a lot of careers. Because of Carson, there are a lot of thriving and successful channels out right now that might be still struggling for notoriety if it weren't for that Minecraft SMP. Carson didn't try to hog the spotlight, which I think is rare in influencers these days. Even in collabs, you can kind of tell that they're all kind of fighting for the spotlight, and it comes across as very unhealthy and disingenuous. After the Minecraft content, Carson continued working on group projects. Most of his videos were collabs with his friends. He started a group podcast focusing on their experiences, which only helped everyone grow as creators even more. I didn't watch a lot of CallMeCarson videos when he was making them, but I do remember watching a game show that he made as one of his final videos. The game show had no rules that made sense. It was essentially just a huge collaboration with multiple channels where they all goofed around and did stupid challenges while Carson tried to throw them off the rails even more. And honestly, it was a fun video, well-intentioned, kind of good vibes about it, and it highlighted a lot of fellow creators. But most of all, it showed that all of these channels, all of these people were willing to come on to Carson's little game show where there were no rules and just goof around with him. It showed that Carson had real influence in a lot of these high social circles. Carson was a creator who was very easy to relate to. He didn't seem to be fronting or putting on an act in any of his videos or streams, so he came across as very genuine. His profile picture was most often his high school class photo, which showed off his acne and kind of bowl-cut hair. He wasn't hiding behind fancy outfits or giant LA super mansions like some creators. He was genuine and relatable. At one point, Carson was invited to be a contestant on the Twitch game show Lover Host. And in that show, contestants compete in a bachelor-style elimination game in order to go on a date with the star of the show, unless they secretly chose host, in which case they get the viewers from the stream. Carson was invited onto the Lover Host show that featured ᶫᵒᵒᵒ, the very famous porn star. The entire show had 20 guys fighting tooth and nail in order to go on a date with ᶫᵒᵒᵒ. They were all desperate to score even a little bit of a chance with her, except for Carson. Carson was nonchalant the whole time, didn't really try to be trying to win at all, and somehow that cool demeanor got him to the very final round of the game, and he won. And then, in a move that shocked everyone, the audience, the host, even Mia herself, it was revealed that Carson picked host from the very beginning. He had no intentions on going on any date. And Mia was bewildered that she was turned down, and when she asked him why, Carson said, "Because it's funny." And I think that's why Carson became such a huge creator. Because even though he was relatable and very easy to project yourself onto, he still found ways to surprise his audience and shock them in a way that still came across as endearing and entertaining. His content was mainly positive, and it focused on building his friends up, which is a very likable trait. And he always put a lot of creativity into his work. I think the final product of a lot of his streams and videos really shows the amount of creativity and energy that he put into them. A minor scandal Carson found himself in was when his livestream viewers started shipping him with another Twitch creator named Katerino. The two found this movement kind of funny, so they started entertaining it and streaming together and producing content that gave their fans something to drool over. Now, I have problems with shipping real people. Like, if you watch a TV show and you think two characters would make a cute couple, then by all means, fantasize away, because you're not hurting anybody. But that innocence is immediately discarded as soon as you start projecting this fantasy onto two real people, right? It's kind of invasive, kind of dehumanizing, and I don't think shipping of real people should be accepted. Back to the story. As Carson and Kate were growing close, it was revealed that Carson was not the only boy being led on. There were a few others Kate had been entertaining, which brought the final confirmed count of boys Kate was with to 5, with some people even theorizing that there might have been 7. And when this came to light, Carson went dark for a while. The internet, however, had a field day tearing into Kate, and a lot of creators found a lot of social success by ruthlessly mocking Kate and turning her into a demon for everyone to target. And don't get me wrong, I despise what Kate did. I think it was a clear abuse of power and taking advantage of people. Starting to see a pattern here. But because the entire internet was attacking this girl, her victims gained a lot of sympathy, especially Carson. Since Carson and Kate had been putting on a show for people shipping them, people thought this betrayal would affect Carson disproportionately, and that his little heart would have been broken by the news coming out about what Kate was doing to him. But Carson was back to streaming in a week, and he was even cracking jokes about Kate himself, seemingly turning the whole thing into a punchline. So Carson was able to leave this scandal with an even higher social regard. People now saw him as a trooper who just went through something traumatic, but was still streaming to entertain his fans. His channel kept growing, he kept making videos, and it seemed like he had become a true idol for countless people. And then all of that came to a screeching halt when January 2021 came around. Has my hair been this bad the whole video? Oh my, whatever, it's too late. People learning that Carson had been abusing his power in order to take advantage of a fan this way, it hit them really hard. Naturally, a lot of his fans started fighting to defend Carson by saying that since he was 19 and the victim was 17, that's only a 2-year age difference. They were both young, so it probably wasn't even that bad, right? Like, it was okay. But either way, he was famous and she was a fan, which makes that relationship flawed. It was a clear abuse of a power dynamic, and I keep saying the words abuse and power dynamic because I really want us to walk away from this whole thing remembering that. What Carson did was disgusting and wrong, and there's no use wasting your energy trying to defend that. I'm starting to wish this was wine. And when these screenshots came out, it was immediately confirmed by Carson's friends and other members of the podcast he was in, because he had admitted it to them. And they were as disturbed as you could be, but they couldn't say anything due to the fear of a lawsuit. But once this became public knowledge, they all made tweets and or videos addressing the subject and condemning what Carson was doing. And then they all immediately moved on in an attempt to distance themselves from ever being associated with Carson. The drama channels had a field day with Carson, some staunchly defending him and others tearing him to pieces, and some starting on one end and then moving to the other. But as the news cycle does, everyone moved on in a week to the next big thing, and suddenly Carson was a thing of the past. And that brings us to today, an age where nobody talks about Carson anymore. His relevance on the internet has vanished, and because he's staying offline, that last scandal is the final note we all got on this story of Carson. It was a channel that once held potential and promise, and it got extinguished like you were pissing on a candle. It's a bad metaphor for someone with a candle right next to him. Like I said, I didn't watch a lot of CallMeCarson videos, but I still knew of him as a high-profile streamer who was, in a way, sort of leading the forefront of Twitch. He knew how to grow his brand, and he knew how to nurture his audience. It seemed like he was born to be a content creator. When the news of the scandal broke out, I was surprised and disappointed, but Carson had a lot of fans who took this a lot harder because he had been their idol. And for him to fuck up this badly, it crushed them. He let them all down. He even let down the fans who are still defending him to this day, just out of blind loyalty. But I refuse to end this video on a sad note. So let's try and see if there are any positives that we can take from this Carson story to apply to ourselves. Carson was devoted to growth. He fought for his success, but he did it in a way that was fun and engaging, and it drew people to him, and it didn't really look like he was trying. He made sure that his friends were all experiencing the same growth he did, opting for group projects and collabs and podcasts and multi-person streams. He shared his spotlight. That compassion is what I want to inspire myself. I want to be someone who works towards making the people around me happy and successful. And I want to entertain people as Carson did. I want to take on ambitious projects in the goal of entertaining people and making them laugh. I think that's a good reason to want to make things. Whatever you are able to take away from this whole Carson story, hold on to it. Carson himself deserves the backlash he got because his actions caught up to him. The only silver lining I can see from this whole thing is if you and I, or any other content creator, is able to learn from this and not just let whatever Carson was on the internet go to a complete waste. And I know that's harsh, but there's nothing else we can do with this. Carson's career is over. Like, what he did destroyed his future. And that's something else we need to learn from this. Mistakes catch up to you. Shitty behavior catches up to you. No matter how many little subscribers or Twitch viewers you have, if you did some fucked up shit in your past and have made no effort to try and repair the damage you've done, that shit's going to come back with a vengeance. So at the end of the day, don't use the power you have to influence other people into doing things you want. It is an incredibly shitty thing to do. And the actions you do now will affect you in the future because that's how actions work. So don't do shitty and stupid things to others. Like, don't do that. And if Carson is watching this, for some reason, I want to say this to him. What you did and how you handled it is indefensible. And there is no part of me that feels comfortable claiming that you are a good person after this stuff came to light. But what I can say is that you were a very gifted and talented content creator. And for what it's worth, you had a very positive impact on a lot of people. Well, pretty sure that is how this video is going to end. So yeah, video's over. All right. Thank you all for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of the support you've shown me. You can like this video, subscribe, comment, notification, whatever. I don't care. Just do whatever makes you happy. I hope you're all staying safe. I love you lots. Goodbye.